So it's been a while. So I'm still having, I've just woken up. So I'm having my tea just to have my throat better. And it's kind of cloudy today. So I hope it's going to be better. Yesterday it was really, really sunny. So I wanted to talk about friendship in Norway and how I find it as a foreigner, and especially coming from Africa, specifically Kenya. So in Kenya we're very easy. I think we the word we use a lot, I can say misuse, but for us we don't think we're misusing because we really mean it. It's friend. Like you can meet someone for a week, 2 weeks, and say, oh, that's my friend. Like a lot of people use that one. So that's what I'm saying, misuse. And in Norway, that one is really taken seriously. Before someone can say, that's my friend, oh, it's gonna take long. So what I have found out is that in Norway, most of them, their friendship has been for a very long time. Very, very long time. Or the people who call each other friends. And the reason is because, why I think it's like that, is because most of them, if you're born in a particular place, you'll go to primary school the same area, high school the same area, maybe college you go somewhere else, or you go to the same, or if you don't go, you find a job just in the same area. And most of the people, when they even go outside for school, they come back to the same area and look for a job. So that means that you could have a childhood friend who you grew up with, you go to school together, you go to, maybe the only time you will kind of miss each other is when you're in college, if you don't happen to go to the same university or whatever. But much later, you'll find that that friendship is always, they tend to keep that, because these are people you have known for a very long time. So which I find interesting, because, and then some of them is like after college, you get married, you live in the same area, have children, work there. So you never leave the area where you're born. So it becomes that you have the people you knew when you were this young is the people you know when you're older, or when you're old. And that's what I find interesting. Of course, there are relationships that they form at work, and sometimes if they click, they become friends because they have a shared goal or something, some shared activities. But their friendship is like that. And most of the time you will find that it's not just like two people knowing each other, or two couples knowing each other. It's a group they form a group. So that people and that people and that people, so they get to have a friend that they can all meet, and so you find that it's like that. And so for you, when you're new, you can't penetrate on that circle, because you have to know all of them. And just because you know one doesn't make you part of the group. So we had a teacher who used to tell us that from the south part of Norway, that you're with them, but you're not part of them. So just because they invite you in that circle once in a while, just because that doesn't make you their friend, okay? Whereas in Africa, it's very different. For example, we are born in one area. We probably go to primary school in that area. But for high school, most of us go to boarding school, and we will go far away, like 4 hours, 6 hours, even far away, more than that, far from home. So that means the people you went to primary school with, sometimes you might start losing, the connection because you're far away. And remember, this is when you're a teenager, so that's when you're kind of trying to figure out who you are, to figure out what you like, to figure out the kind of people you like to hang out with. So the people you knew from when you were, say, from when you're young to the age of maybe 14 or 13, you lose them in a way. So then you form this friendship with people you were with for 4 years in high school, in a boarding school, far away from home. And in this boarding school, there are people from all walk of life. You will find people from different areas because we don't decide which high school to go to. The government decide. And how the government decided that you are what do you call it? According to how you performed in your high school. And there are those schools that you selected, you wanted to go. You select, but your marks decide. So you can select like 4 or 5, and where one of them lands you, that's where you land. So, and it could be different kind of people you meet. So again, you start forming friendship, and this friendship is only for 4 years. After 4 years again, you have to go to college or university. Now, that's again different because if you pass the government, there are those universities that either the government decide where you're going to be going, or if you're lucky enough, you have a lot of money and your parents can afford, your parents decide which university they want to take you because it's private. So chances of meeting the same person for a long time, I wouldn't say for a long time, yeah, like meeting in college, it's very, very low. It's like, again, you lose, or let's say, for example, the people like your best friend, the one you made to be friends with in high school, or the friends you made and you became friends, chances of you going to the same university, sometimes it's very, very low. Again, you kind of lose them. You go to university, you're there for 4 years, or if you go to college, depending on what you do, you make another friendship. And then after that, there is work. Of course, that depends. If you get a work, most of the people, they end up in Nairobi, or some people go back. I mean, like, you go back to the big cities. Or, again, we go back, or you go back to your home, where your home is, and from there now you start again. And that means for us, we meet so many people and we make so many short friendships along the way. So it's like you make some, you gain, you lose, you gain, you lose. Some you keep, but you're so strained, you haven't seen each other for so long. Even your childhood friends, the ones you want. And then life is very different. We come from society that we are not all the same. I mean, you could have a friend, but she comes from not a very well-up family. There's another friend you have, she comes from a very rich family. So that itself makes it very difficult, because maybe the one who comes from a very rich family, a poor family, even though maybe was the smartest, maybe will never have a chance to go to school, to university, because they can't afford it. So what happens to some of them, they just go under, because they go back to the village and they have to hustle in life. Whereas if someone comes from a rich family, they go to the best schools or the best universities their parents can afford. So again, you get a job, you make some friendship. So again, I find that in Kenya, most people, actually, the friendship they keep a lot is the friendship they made during their working time. Because that time now you're more adults. Which is very funny, because here making friendship as an adult, most of them don't. Most of them, it's the friends they have known. But for us, it's the friends that you have grown up, you met at work, you have, so a lot of activities, after work, you say, oh, let's go and have a coffee, or this weekend we are doing this and this. Or let's say someone is having a wedding, oh, so and so is having a wedding, we are all going because you're colleagues, you're invited. Like a wedding here, it doesn't matter whether it's your colleague or not. You're not gonna be invited if you're friends. But in Kenya, we invite, oh, my colleagues are coming for my wedding, so you're open to it. Whoever wants to come. Of course, nowadays it's changing because life is becoming very hard and very expensive. But it is more like that. So when you move to a country like this and you are new, oh boy, you really have to have a thick skin, and you really need to be able to be your own person and be able to spend time alone without having to feel alone, because it takes time to make friends. If you probably come here as a student, it's much easier to make friendship because there are many other foreign students. So the students now, you kind of understand each other, even though you don't come from the same country. So it's very easy to make friends in that matter. And again, you're meeting all the time, you have classes together, you probably, do some activities together. But if you come like married, or that's very different, because you come alone and the only person you're with he's the eye, or she is the eye to the social world. So if it's a person who is very social, you will be able maybe to meet some people. And even though he's social or not, or she's social or not, remember those are his or her friends. So yeah, you're there, but still it takes time. But to be alone, yeah, you will. To have friends, you can say, these are my friends. Oh, it's hard. You got to be very comfortable in your own skin, whereby you can be on your own. You can go for hiking alone or walking alone. You can do stuff alone. I'm not afraid to go to a restaurant and have dinner on my own. I'm not. Which I think maybe many people would look at it like, why? Why eating alone? I mean, it's not normal, but so because a lot of people who are alone and who are Norwegians and they don't have many friends, they will just sit at home. They will not just go, and not many would go in a restaurant and ask for a meal and sit and eat on their own. So I think for me, being in Norway has taught me that it's okay being on my own, and it has taught me that sometimes being alone, you got to have conversation in your head, and it's very scary, especially when you come from Africa, for the first time to hear your own thoughts. That's something we don't do, because in Africa we are so busy. In Kenya, you're walking, there's traffic, you have this meeting, you have that, you're working 5 o'clock, go home, you're stuck in traffic, you have to go home, you have to cook, you have family, I don't know, in the weekend, I don't know, you have to go see your family, there's someone having some, I don't know, rorashio. Rorashio is when people are paying dowry, is it? I think so. That's in my language. Rorashio is like bride price, when you're paying for the bride. Yeah, so you have to attend, so you don't ever have time for yourself. It's you always have people around. So a lot of people don't even know what they want in life because they've never really sat and listened to their self. The first time I sat on my own and I had my own thoughts, it's scary. because it's me and my thoughts. Something I've never had. Because when I came to Norway the first time, I was working for the airline. So you can imagine, I start work at was starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and some days we were starting at 4. So when you start at 9, you finish at 6. Let me tell you, the flights you're going to be handling, if it's at night shift, you're starting at 6 o'clock p.m. and you finish 9 o'clock in the morning. Those are 15 hours. And I'm telling you, if you're doing a Boeing 777, or you know how many people there are, and if it's full and you have to check in, you can imagine how many times you'll be like, hey, hello, Mr. So-and-so, welcome. Where are you going to be traveling today? Oh yeah, did you enjoy your time in Kenya? Yeah. Do you have any bags? Like you are constantly talking. You're constantly, oh yeah, how is it like in your country? And like you are always having people around, and I really think I miss my old job, because I love to talk, I love to meet people, and I think that would be perfect for me. Yeah, that's perfect for me. I love talking, I love history and all that. So can you imagine coming from that kind of environment and then coming to an environment whereby even people don't say hello? Like saying hello, people are like, why is she saying hello? You know, it's so hard. And then another thing I found is that, so to me, coming here and you don't have friends, and then when we were finished with our work, the only thing we used to do is, we go home, we sleep. If tomorrow we are not working morning and we're working at night, we probably will go out. Like, you're never alone. Absolutely never alone. I don't think, right now maybe things have changed a little bit, maybe people, because of the phones also, you know. So I do miss the days where I always had people in my house. Ever. I love cooking. I love cooking for people. And and the thing is, so I always had friends, and sometimes it's not even friends that I know. I remember before I came to, before I came to Norway, I had a party, and I remember I invited one guy, and he was like, "Yeah, Lillian, I'm gonna come with some of my friends." He came with, I think, like 5 friends or 6, like, yeah, and most of them, of course, I kind of knew them, but I think there were 2 or 3 I didn't even know them. Like, yeah, my friend is having a bash, let's go. Of course, he gave me and I said, that's fine, you can come with him. So what I'm trying to say is that I think in Kenya or in Africa, how we view friendship is very, very different from how Norwegians view friendship. As we are more inviting, we are more open to people, we enjoy the moment, and sometimes even your friend can come with a friend and you kind of click. So you will sit in a place with, let's say, I sit in a place and there's this girl I don't even know. We're in a party, and the next thing is like, let's change numbers. Yeah. And tomorrow we're gonna even probably meet without the person who brought us together. Like, that's how crazy it is. So I always say to people that if you really, really, really ever feel lonely when you're in the Western countries, just go to Africa. Go to Kenya. Let me not talk about Africa, because we are different in every country. There are people who are welcoming, there are people who are not welcoming. But come to Kenya. Kenya is like People are just open. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The next thing you know, it's people click. But also, like I said, a lot of Kenyans is like they meet in even like shared activities, like people who plays golf. They would be like, yeah, after golf they meet. Oh, yeah, like they start forming this like squad. And the thing is, they actually sometimes, especially men, when they form friendship in Kenya, they don't necessarily have to even know your wife. Like it's not a couple kind of thing. So it's a man who plays golf or who does whatever he does, and he has met these people he has gotten to know. He doesn't necessarily have to be a friend to the wife of this other person. That's amazing. Well, here I find is like couples. Like you're meeting as a couple. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like when you travel to different countries and different cultures, you always get something you never knew. And to me, that makes me adjust to my way. Like when I'm in Kenya and I tell people, it's not, I think it's now normal. A lot of people in Kenya can go out and eat and everything. But before, my friends used to say, why? Why are you going out and eating alone? I'm like, I don't know. Because I can. Because I'm also the kind of a person I don't wait for people. Like I'm not gonna stop doing something because a friend cannot be there, or because because they're busy and they cannot be with me. So that's one thing I've learned, that you got to be okay with yourself. You got to be able to go out there, do things on your own. Don't wait for anybody, because sometimes you wait for people and maybe their life is still going on. You are still waiting for them. Because I find it very, people who are very dependent on others. I had a friend at work, she couldn't even go to the toilet alone. You know that primary school kind of thing? Like when it's break time and someone wants to go to the toilet, like, let's go to the toilet, let's go. And all of you run to the toilet. Even at work, she wouldn't do that. She would drag someone like, let's go to the toilet, because our office was on one end and the toilet was on the other end. So it was kind of a small distance, but she wouldn't go alone. Never. That was kind of interesting. So I think it's good to be alone, but don't let your phone make you be alone. And then you find that you have missed out on important relationships. But here you have to kind of be on your own. So you have to learn how to be on your own. So that's for now. I know I was a bit distracted making this video because I didn't know what to say, but I just felt like it's good to. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you watch till the end. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what it is like if you live abroad, or if you live in Kenya. What's your thoughts about friendship, or who do you call a friend, or what's your view about friendship, and are you comfortable being on your own?